Hi there. Today was day number 1 of a 2-day appeal on our CVRD bylaw win. So last year we were in court with Justice McKenzie about the bylaw being broken in Shawnigan Lake with this toxic dump landfill. And Justice McKenzie ruled in our favor and said, you're right, you can't have a landfill in a forested, industrial zoned, residential zoned area. Landfills just don't come into that criteria. So we won. So we came and celebrated. I came to Vancouver actually, and I celebrated for 4 days, and then boom, they appealed it, the bad guys. We knew they would, right? Come on, they're not stupid. And they have a lot of money backing them. So they appealed it, and that following week, our appeal was listened to because they wanted we wanted a stay on any soil or anything like that. And Justice Kirkpatrick heard that, and instead of giving us a stay, she decided to use a ruling from Peachland that showed a mining company that was dumping illegally, but during the wait for their appeal to be heard, they needed to dump their contracts so that they wouldn't go bankrupt. So SIRM, who's the operating company who actually has no assets and nothing in their name, lied in court to Justice Kirkpatrick and said that they had contracts that were in their name that needed to be fulfilled, and if they didn't fulfill these, they would be sued, and then they would be taken to court, and they would lose money, and yada, 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 they would go out of business. Well, Justice McKenzie didn't bother to check into that, and none of the contracts were actually in SIRM's name. They were all in Altera's name. And now Altera is the company that is actually doing all the work. SIRM is just a shell company, just a name. South Island Resource Management was just incorporated like March, specifically to be the shell company for what's going on right now. So the shell company is owned by Todd Mazook, Gary Isaacson, and Raymond Lamb. So those three proponents, Todd, Gary, and Raymond, all own Altera. So Altera is completely tied in with SIRM, and they have all the assets, they had all the contracts, and everything is in their name, equipment-wise. I showed you lots of pictures of Altera over all the equipment. Nothing ever says SIRM except the sign at the entrance to the gate. Oh, and one little car that has a little red flag on top of it that they drive around, check on us when we're doing our little patrols. So anyway, so today we go into court because the appeal is now being heard. Since that time that we, Justice Kirkpatrick said that they could dump 105,000 tons of contaminated soil, we've got, I don't know, probably 50 to 60,000, I'm not sure. It's hard to gauge, of DND, Department of Natural Defense soil, and it's coming from really nasty, nasty places. There's a barge that'll come in from here and there. We never know where they're coming from because, well, they come in by barge at dark, and we'll go to sleep one night and there'll be a half-filled barge, and we'll wake up in the morning and there'll be a completely full barge, half-full barge gone. Yeah. Don't know where it went, but all we know is we get a new barge. That's all been documented. So anyways, today was the first day. So they're trying to say that it's all about wording. Landfills, if we didn't have any landfills anywhere, there wouldn't be areas filled in for residential zones. The mining permit says that they have to fill in their mine after they've blasted it. Now keep in mind, people, they haven't actually finished blasting this mine. They're going to be the first mining toxic soil dump in Canada, BC, that is going to be blasting while they are receiving toxic soil on a plastic liner, which Weasel Boy will go on and on about how it's scientifically proven, it's wonderful, it will never leak. Well, actually, it's not 100% sure, but it's an acceptable risk, quote unquote, Weasel Boy. So he's there trying to tell them that this decision by Justice McKenzie is wrong. It's not a landfill. They need to fill up the mine. They could put 3 meters of clean soil on top of it and plant a forest on top of it, and it puts it right back to the way it was before. Really? Not so much. You've just blasted out God knows how many tons of rock, fractured it, thank you very much, on an area that's got underground aquifers, and then put a plastic liner down. Oh, let's not forget the clay. Yeah, Weasel Boy went on about the clay. And while he's describing this like meter of clay and then all this crushed rock and blah, 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 and all this stuff, I'm going, that's funny. I watched the second cell being prepared and I didn't see any of that. I saw a little bit of clay. I saw the liner going down. I saw the bottom liner not actually meeting the side liner. I saw all the rips and the holes. Those are all documented on my YouTube channel. You can see it. So he's saying that this engineered cell is the savior of it all. It'll never leak. It's good forever and ever and ever. So he thinks that this is a good idea and they should be allowed to continue doing it. Now, SIRM happens to have their own lawyer in there, and his name is Dorkson. So Dorkson just basically let Weasel Boy do all the talking, and Minion, of course, did all the talking, and he just basically said, we don't want to be part of the soil removal part. So if they lose, they have to remove the soil. Well, they don't want to be part of that. SIRM doesn't want to be part of what was there before they got there, because they didn't get there until March. And by that point, SIA had been dumping illegally. Shit, we don't know what they've dumped up there, but all I know is it's leaking chromium, thorium, and selenium into the lake right now. But they had dumped forever up there. So they had been dumping it 2007 was what they said today. And so they had already been dumping contaminated soil. And it was confirmed contaminated soil in 2010. So from 2010 to 2012, they dumped contaminated soil on no liners, no permission, no permit. So they did the right thing. They went to the government and they said, look, we really want to continue taking dirty dirt because we can make $6 million a year. So can you just give us a permit? And the government went, yeah, I think we can do that. Can you, on your end, take DND, Department of National Defense, in Esquimalt? Because we need to dredge that. And we also need to dredge in front of the harbor so we can get a yacht dock ready for all the rich and famous people that are going to come and block everybody's views in their giant freaking yachts. I like to call them penal extensions. Anyways, back to the subject here. Today, so Weasel Boy says this is not a landfill. This is doing the community a favor. This is engineered. This is, look at this design. It looks wonderful. Yeah, it looks great on paper. Too bad you didn't do any of it in real life. None of it. No seepage blanket. Didn't see one. Sorry. We've got people up there watching, taking videos, pictures, etc. Nothing. Government just lets it keep happening because, well, gets rid of DND for them and they need to get that gone so they can build and they can make taxes and have paychecks. This is what this is about. So during the court today, I have to say in the very beginning this morning, the universe just makes my life so much fun. So I got up in the morning, caught the bus down to downtown Vancouver, walking up Granville Street, and I went to the Tim Hortons that I know is just down the street on Hornby from the courthouse. So I go into Timmy's to get my coffee and a biscuit to eat. And who happens to be sitting in Tim Hortons but Mike and Marty and Marty's dad. So what do? I got my biscuit and my coffee and I went and sat next to them. Hi, boys. Good morning. Pulled out my little stuffed minion, my bottle of icky Shawnigan Lake water with the lovely postcard of the icky water wrapped around it, and I ate my sandwich. All talking stopped next door to me. It was pretty funny. Kind of awkward, I'd say. So they left. And I finished my sandwich in peace. Gotta love the universe. So I get to court and sit down, and I've got my notebook out, my phone's turned off. And I look over and I see somebody else is playing on their electronic device. And I'm like, hey, if they get to play on their electronic device, maybe I get to play on my electronic device. So I did. And I live Facebooked. And I called Dorkson an idiot. And I called Weasel Boy a liar. And you know what? He brought it up in court. Just before the end break when Alicia, our CVRD lawyer, was starting her talk, which was basically saying everything he said is a lie. But she couldn't say it because she's a lawyer and it has to be done in a nice way with the law. So he stands up and he goes, "My lord and ladies, I have to say there is an individual in this courtroom who is using her electronic device to live report to Facebook about these proceedings. And she has said that Weasel Boy, that's the name she uses for me, is lying. And she is saying that Dorkson is an idiot and that this justice system is, I can't remember his words, corrupt maybe, because those are mine. And he said, and we think that is wrong." So the judges went, "Well, of course, yeah, it's wrong, right?" Even I knew that. But got to push the limit. That's why I'm here. So anyways, the judge heard him and said, "You're right, that is really disrespectful. And if that individual is pointed out to me, we will remove them from court." So I was waiting for Weasel to turn around and go, "It's her! She's calling me names! It's her!" But she didn't. So I had to stay in court, put my phone away, and took notes like I used to in the old days. Boy, Weasel Boy, that must have really sucked. Did you get beaten up a lot in school? Because, man, you are a great tattletailer. So, anyways, I gotta stop.